In the Rye Podcast is a proud member of the Borellis Podcasters Guild. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's episode 21 in the Rye Podcast with Curt Fletcher. This week's guest is going to be Roger Peterson, who's a comedian from Albuquerque, and he's got some pretty funny stories, so I'm excited to talk to him. So let's go talk to him.
Hey, awesome.
Hey, great to see you.
Great to see you.
Man, it's been a while.
It has been.
How you been holding up? You're in Albuquerque, right?
Yeah, I'm in Albuquerque. Everything's great. I've been working at the credit union now since March of 2019. Everything's going good there. Blessed
Cool.
to have a job and all that. So yeah, very cool.
Good,
How
good
about
to
you?
hear.
He's traveling and everything, and still.
A little bit, yeah. I'm gonna take a couple months off, I think, and then
Sure.
try to regroup for next year and try to hit the road again, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to have you on the Thanksgiving week because of all your crazy turkey stories.
There's just only the one crazy story.
Well, yeah, but it seems like several, just because it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's always it was it's what we you're from there, or did you grow up in Iowa?
I did, yeah.
Well, so you know all the farm stuff, all the
Oh,
farm
yeah.
stories,
Yep.
and this is basically no different. It's just crazy '70s where hazing was part of life,
hmm
and the process of that, and that area was really bizarre. Is that Minnesota considered turkey capital of the world almost,
hmm
and you never really known that, but and this town next to Brewster, right, where you performed, Worthington, I think we stayed in.
Yeah.
They would have a big Turkey Day celebration in September, and they had a sister city down in Cortez, Texas. I really still don't know what that is, but they had this big Turkey Day celebration. And they'd have a race every year with a turkey from Worthington versus a turkey from Cortez, Texas. And Cortez would come up to Worthington, and Worthington would go down to Cortez once a year. And so that was always, just a crazy phenomenon with all of that as well. So yeah. So and so if you want me to, I'll just go right into that story if you
Yes,
want.
please do, man. I
Okay.
don't remember all of it. It's been a while since I've heard it. Because,
You know,
God, it's been
yeah.
probably at least 10 years, I'd imagine.
Really? So
I bet, yeah.
well, I've in my little show I've shared it there, and
hmm
but again, it just goes back, and I want to say when I first did this, I was like a sophomore in high school, and there's a farm outside Bristol Farms, and they had over 2,000 hens and about 250 toms. And I'll never forget, it was kind of a tradition there that you got out of school, you got excused from school to go work on the turkey farm, and through this process, and you got paid, back then, now you're talking 70, 75, 76, I think around this time, about 76, I think I was approached. I was a sophomore in high school, and was kind of friends, hey, you want to go work Bristol's farm, go fuck turkeys. I says, well, what's the deal? You get paid, $7 an hour, and it's about, glass about 3 or 4 hours. And then he buys, they buy lunch at the little cafe uptown. So you got a nice lunch with the deal. And so it's like skipping school and, working and, free lunch, that's good living. And so, because my uncle had a farm, it's farm community.
hmm
So, we always baled hay or we did stuff on the farm, even though I lived in town. My grandmother and uncle, they had a farm. And so I did a bunch of stuff out there. So, as you know, farm life wasn't foreign to me. And so, jumped in the car with a few buddies, and there's probably a crew, I want to say, about 15 guys, 15, 20 guys. And me and my best friend, it's our first time doing this, and you heard the stories, and you want to see if they all come true. So we get out there, and the first thing you do as a rookie, kind of follow around some of the more veterans of the group that have been doing this for a long time, and And some guys actually did it for, full-time living, go from farm to farm to do this thing. And this is, I can't remember, I should have looked it up for you, but it's actually featured on Dirty Jobs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so, but we're talking 1976, so farm, you go out to the big turkey barn, and like I said, it's about, I want to say between 1,500 to 2,000 hens, turkey barn. It was, very rather large and faced north south. And the first thing that you do, so I was a rookie of the group, and so you did different, there's different jobs. And so the first thing we did is that you would, herd all the turkeys to one end of the building, north end of the barn, get them up almost all there. Once they were there, but this is my first time, so I don't know what's really happening. They also would collect eggs as they were herding the turkeys to the north end of the barn. Then all of a sudden, I felt this egg splash on my head. And it's like, nobody threw it at me, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, where in the hell did this come from? So you look up, so they were smart about it. They wouldn't throw it directly at you, but they would aim to throw it on the ceiling, so you'd walk underneath and the egg would fall on your head. So that was the first thing. So then I got egg on my hair and egg on my, shirt. And it was just like, it's hot in there. This time it's, no matter how cold it was outside, it's still, you got the turkey smell, it's just a horrible, horrible smell. And, of course, we didn't wear masks at that time. And so we're just walking through and try and watch everybody else. And you get the hang of it. You throw egg on the ceiling to see if you can, time it where they'd walk underneath it. So it was war on, guys, all of us, right, from 15 to 20, 21 years old, they were doing it. Everybody knew everybody, whatever. And so as we heard them up there, so you had that going on. And so now you kind of just don't know what the deal is. But once you got all the turkeys herded to the north end of the barn, and then they had these chutes. And so you would, about 2 or 3 people would actually chase the turkeys up these chutes. So on the other side of the chute is when the whole process would take over. Or, that's the other side of, on the other side of the chute was, you had people, pullers, they're called pullers. They would actually pull out the turkeys out of the chute, which was a tough job, because when they start flapping their wings, that, flapping their wings on your arms, and that's where you wore, no matter how hot it was, you wore long sleeve shirts and you had gloves on, because that would just, hurt as they're flapping their wings, and the noise and stuff and all this, this is mad chaos going on. So you'd pull the turkey, then you'd hand it to the holder. Okay. And so and then throughout the day we would switch, because chasing them up was kind of a cushy job. And pulling the turkeys out was a hard job. And then you got to be other job was a holder. Now, being a holder was the worst job of them all, because then you turn around, you'd hold the turkey, then you had 2 guys sitting down, in the chairs, kind of side by, not kind of facing each other, and one would actually spread the turkey's vagina, right? You'd be called the spreader. Right? So you'd spread the vagina as a spreader, spread the vagina, and every time they'd spread the vagina, the turkey would shit. Now, and it would, it was a healthy, it was a squirt, mm-hmm. But the spreader could aim how the anus would shit. And so they'd get the biggest kick, and every time they spread the vagina, he'd aim it so the turkey, he couldn't do nothing about it too, and he would aim it so it landed on your shirt. So now I got egg on my fucking head, turkey shit all over me, right? I mean, because and these guys, they're older guys, right? They're like, late teens, or in this case, some of them are doing this for, pretty much not a full-time job, but a really good enough one. Like I said, they would go. These people, the specialized positions, these were held for the veterans, and they'd get, they got, rank or get paid, whatever, better of that. And then the guy, after he spread the vagina, and there'd be a guy just really with an eyedropper, just dropping the sperm inside the turkey. And so this would go on, and like you'd rotate like every 20 minutes, because you'd work from being a being herding up the chute to become a puller and then a holder, and you'd switch every 15 or like every 20 minutes, whatever it was. They would
Which one
switch
was your
up.
favorite to do?
My favorite do was basically probably just herd them up the chute, because that was just, you just had these little flags and all you got to do is chase them up the chute.
Yeah.
Right. So, then, so you did this for a couple hours, 2.5 hours. And then we took a break. We're halfway done. So we take a 15, 20-minute break. You'd go out and you have a soda, or you brought something to eat, you get something to eat. And then being a rookie, you heard about the stories. Right. And so you just like, this is where the hazing comes in. And so you try to, just like, what are you going to do? All of a sudden 14 guys get around you, you half-ass hardly make a break for it. And so you just, basically you just take your punishment and go on, you know what I mean? And what this punishment was, right? And this is how you became official NTFA, which stands for National Turkey Fucker of America, right? And this is why it's such a great Thanksgiving story. And so they'd hold you down, and then they'd put the turkey, take an eyedropper and put turkey sperm in your ear, and so and then you're official. Everybody, hey, just like anything else, you cross that threshold. Now you're just you're regular. Now you're a regular guy. You're a veteran. You go back to work, but instead of going to the hen barn, right? Well, the guy says, hey, Raj, you want to keep on doing that? Or you want to do something different, man? Hey, I'll do something different. I love to get out of that fucking noise, the 2,000 turkeys going on, that chaos, no more shit on my shirt. So I went to the other barn, and that's where the toms are, right? Well, where does a turkey sperm come from? Well, it comes from the toms. And so now you started having like 2,000 hens over there. You have like 250, 300 toms. And you'd literally, and these are heavy bastards, these are heavy fuckers. And literally you would, you had to go grab the turkey, go grab the tom, you wrestle, you grab their things, and you had to plop them on the table. There's like 2 or 3 of us doing that. And literally you would plop them at the table, and there'd be literally a guy with a shot glass that would actually nub the little fucking turkey, whatever, and he would extract the sperm and put it into that fucking shot glass. Once that shot glass got filled up, it got transferred over to a bigger sperm cup, which went over to the hen house. So full fucking circle of I've done. So I did it in one day. I did it all. From herding to pushing them up the chute. The pull, and I guess really, other than getting the shit, being the holder, you get to hold the turkey. And because there'd be 2 of us, you get one, they'd hold it, they'd do their deal, and then you'd be bringing the other one. That wasn't so much the physical demand of it, but just the humility of it. The guy spreading a fucking vagina and pointing a turkey shit on your shirt, and they laughed every fucking time. And the guy got good at aiming too. He'd find it. You're all fucking full of it. He'd find a spot that wasn't there, and boom, there'd be pot of and you smell it. Man, you just threw your shirt away. Yeah. It was not. But then the interesting part of it, though, Curt, was extracting this. Seeing it full circle, where they actually just extract the sperm from the turkey. You actually pull it up, and the sperm would go into the shot glass. And this is an old guy. He's been doing it for years and years and years. And so the guys that did it pretty much, as a good side gig, or, they would go to different farms and do this throughout the week. And they would do it probably once or twice a month at this guy's farm. And I got to do it a few times, maybe I want to say 3 or 4 times. But you know what? Again, getting out of school, getting paid, getting fed, and plus we'd, drink on the way back into the lunch, and it was crazy stuff. And it was, and plus having a free lunch at the cafe, small town cafe with the homemade meals and the lemon meringue pie, as you'd imagine, in a small town. Oh yeah. It was good times. It was just anybody that like getting a conversation with people at the bar. don't know farm life whatsoever, they just freak the fuck out, and to this day, John, still talks of, all my comedic friends are so intrigued by that process. And to me, it wasn't that really big a deal until I'd explain it. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, when you get to a bigger city and you just start telling people about it, and they're like, what?
Yeah, they have no idea, no idea. And that's, again, it's just part of farm life. You bale hay, and, in my uncle's farm, I think the worst thing that, there's a couple things that kind of grossed me out the most was deer hoarding cattle.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. You ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
They would have, they have these chutes, and you chase these steers when they're younger, before they come of age. They put them in this chute, and my uncles would literally take this big clamp, like a big, clamp. What am I trying to say? Vice, the large vice grips, and they'd get to the inside or on the other side of the horn, and they'd pull the horn out by the roots and everything, and then have to put the antiseptic in there. Oh, those poor steers, man, was just, I couldn't imagine how much that would have hurt. But that's, again, it's just farm life. Where do people think food comes from? How food is, and that's just, same with back in again, my uncle was a hog farmer. Castrating pigs was a big deal. We would get in these pens, get in the pig pen with the sow. The sows are really huge, and we would actually, my uncle would actually castrate them, and so I'm a little boy, and I would be inside this pen holding up the little piglet, because you got to do it in a certain amount of time, because otherwise they get too heavy. But that sow didn't dig that program at all. Jeez, they would get mean and come after it. My uncle would take the big old shovel and hit him across the snout. And it was again, that's part of farm life, this is back in the 70s, and this is before now it's just, my uncle still throws pigs around, but now it's so automated, how they do it, the big factories and things like that, where, I remember before you got the hog barn, I remember I don't know if you remember being in Iowa, seeing the old A houses, they were called. You remember seeing those?
Yeah, I remember those.
We were talking in the middle of winter, man. You were still, hauling water and feed around to those hogs, and it was just like, wow, that was brutal. And it's like, my uncle's farm, the first kind of automated hog barn he got, is the investment was, the hogs get before you got your own house. You took care of what brought the money in. And I'll never forget going out to my uncle's farm is my dad say, as we're pulling up driving, he goes, kids, you know what that smell is? No, Dad. It smells like shit to us, and we thought it was pretty cool because we say shit in front of our dad. He says, well, that's the smell of money. Yeah. And so, but yeah, again, it's just farm life, I don't. Did you ever work on the farm at all?
No, I never did. My grandpa used to own a farm, but I was really, really young when they owned it, and so I never did any work out there or anything like that. And they sold it when I was pretty small, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I remember one big thing in Iowa is that they would bring crews down from Minnesota. Did you ever, heard of detasseling corn?
Yeah, actually, my brother did that a couple times, and it's kind of funny because I can't remember if he was like really high and he stayed up all night, and then he went detasseling in the morning, and they go out like super early, right? Before the sun comes up, and so by the time the sun's like beating down on you, like I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I guess he started hallucinating, and he thought the corn was attacking him. So he's like in the middle of the cornfield, and he starts throwing punches at the corn. And all his friends are like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Well, you know what? Same with I remember bean hoeing.
Oh yeah.
Before they got sprayers, you
I
did
think
it
my
by
mom
hand.
used to
You
do
actually had
that.
a beanhole. We're talking out in the fields or pulling weeds. You actually went out to, and there, and that was, again, I can see because I got sunburned really, really bad once on my neck, where I
Yeah.
had these big blisters on my neck that was just like,
Oh
wow,
yeah.
it was just horrible. And then I had another friends of ours, this guy from church, and we had every year we had to go pick. You had to have people go pick rock.
Oh
So
yeah.
these rocks we just to get clear the field so you could plant the next year. You had to remove all the. There's all these rocks that come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like bizarre. Good old
It,
farm stories, man.
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and now and then my uncle tells me, PETA is really involved. They're making they can't use the tasers anymore.
Oh really?
So yeah, how it's just weird because it's just they're animals, and that's
Hmm.
what we eat, and it's safe, but a pig's coming at you, you can't tase them. You
Yeah.
can't, we're not really tasers or back then a little electric shock thing, little
Yeah.
shock probes, and it's like they worked,
Hmm.
and of course, they had the electric fences, around there, and I remember one time, of course, you had to do it. You're a stupid kid. Like I was pretty dumb doing dumb stuff, get talked into by older brothers or whatever. But sometimes you just kind of, you piss on an electric fence. It's not the smartest thing to do. It does come back. Oh
I
god.
never did that.
Well, I never stuck my tongue to a pole either during the winter, like in
I
Christmas
did do
stories.
that.
Did you?
That was stupid.
That's no that one that one I didn't do.
Yeah.
But one of the craziest things I saw too, talk about farm life. He had this one boar, big old boar, that was too mean or wasn't performing or whatever,
Hmm.
and he decided to castrate him,
Hmm.
and it took four. My uncles are pretty good sized guys. Farm people are really, plus they're really
Yeah.
strong people. Four of them had one leg apiece. And
Oh
then my
wow.
uncle, we're talking a big old boar, and the nuts are just they were like grapefruits,
Hmm.
and wow, that was just that was weird to see. That
Yeah.
was really weird to see.
Oh, I bet.
And then pigs, just like in the movie or the series. You ever watch the series Deadwood?
No, I never saw it.
Never saw it. Well, there's
Mm-mm.
people that saw it where they would actually, people were killed and they were this or that. They would literally feed them to the pigs.
Hmm.
And I remember one time on this yard, they have all the, during the pigs, and it's like I'll never forget. It's like springtime, right? And um, my job was, like, you're a kid, you just, being out there is kind of fun or whatever. My job was go throw 100 years of corn out into the yard.
Hmm.
Pigs would feed on it. So I'd go out there and shuck the corn and throw the corn out there and, just throw him corn. He thought that was kind of a fun little activity, whatever. And so I got done throwing my corn out. I started walking to my uncle's where, and all of a sudden I got stuck in the mud in my overshoes. And the pigs noticed that. And I'll never forget. It's like, corn or him, corn or him. And my uncle, out of the corner of his eye, kind of saw what's going on. He ran over me. He ran over to me and just lifted me right out of my boots. I was stuck in the mud to
Yeah.
get away. Yeah, it's like, or else they're going to have me for lunch.
Oh yeah.
So that was a kind of a scary deal.
Yeah, I
And
bet.
yeah, so and chasing pigs too from time to time. Someone wanted to get out. You wouldn't believe how agile they are.
Uh-huh.
My God, it was just strange, trying to corner a pig, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was some good old farm life. Good old
Oh
farm
yeah.
life. So yeah, what else is happening?
Not much, man. I was gonna ask you about your comedy career too. Like when did you first do stand-up comedy?
Well, actually, I think you were probably there for the first. Well, I was doing Rodney from time to time, pretty much
Yeah.
since high school.
Oh,
I
okay.
do shows, and that was just a lot of fun because again, I don't pretend to be him or anybody. I do is and I always got a kick out of doing that. And I remember,
Yeah.
or early in my life, even when I was like first, second, about out of high school, I was always doing at parties, this kind of not dressing up like him. I'll never forget, I got my first gig for the city of Worthington,
Oh,
Christmas
really?
party, employees party. And I went out there and I killed it. And
Cool.
then, and as you know, sometimes every gig could be different. And I'll never forget doing a little show at a bar in Round Lake, Minnesota. I stood on two beer cases. They stacked up two or three beer cases at the edge of the bar. And the place was this little bar, small town bar, is packed. And I just fucking killed it.
That's
And it was
awesome.
a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And I just wait certain times, and then I'll never forget. I do that. I did Super Bowl parties. From on and off from time to time. Didn't really, seek out the big career in that. And I remember one time, as early '80s, where I did an open mic, and I had no material. I just bombed. I didn't know anything to do, and so I put that on the shelf. And I always had an itch for it.
Hmm.
Then 2008, I was working at Howie's. That's when I was introduced to Friends to Matt, and
Oh, okay.
that's when I decided to put Howie's. We had the other room on the other on the what Howie's
Yeah,
West there.
I love that room, man. That was so much fun to do comedy in.
I for all of us that did it, everybody still has very fond memories
Oh,
of that
absolutely.
room.
Yeah.
And since I've been back, and since I got back in 2018, I'm just trying to find that magic spot. Because
Yeah.
as you know, Curt, what the capacity was 60, but we'd fill it,
Uh-huh.
and we didn't make a lot of money, but a lot of people, were happy as shit to even get, we never made big bucks, but we kept it cheap, but we always split the pot,
Yeah.
from the open guy, 25 and whatever. We just split it all the way up to and everybody's happy walking out 40, $50,
Hmm.
and
There's no distractions in there either. It seems like every other venue in town, there's something else going on in the room or something. And that room was perfect. There was nothing else going on. It was just comedy, and everyone that
yeah.
was in the room was there for comedy.
Well, that's the whole key of it. The whole key to me, and that's why we charged.
Hmm.
That's why we charged $7 is that
Yeah.
those people paid to see it.
Yeah.
And it no matter. Sometimes we had, hey, sometimes we had, 10 or 15 people, but we still did. They loved it. People
Hmm.
loved it. I think we had just maybe a couple bad experience. Worst experience that we had, I can't remember the guy's name. He actually had a comedy special on Comedy Central. It's coming through, and this is one of those times where we were, uh, we thought we could do two shows in one
Hmm.
night,
Yeah.
and that did not work out. Did not
Yeah.
work out. In fact, that guy did okay the first show. We had nobody for the second show.
Oh,
So
really?
Matt goes get some other people, other customers. Hey, free comedy show, and it was just horrible. The guy
Yeah.
lost it, and he chased everybody out of the room, and it was just a very very bad experience,
Oh,
very
wow.
bad experience, and the second show, and so but we went back to just sticking to our roots, and it was just so fun to see, people that went through there, the AJs,
Yeah.
Joe,
Like Joe Quesada.
Joe Cansada and Sarah,
Sarah was just starting out.
John,
Yeah.
and so that's what since I've been back, I'm trying to find. It's taken me a long time
Uh-huh.
because I want to find that because it was perfect because we didn't have to pay for the room,
Yeah.
but we also brought business to Howie's too,
For sure. Hmm.
because that's why if you go to these open mics or you're right, there's distractions, there's always something going on, and it just doesn't have that feel. That's why it was so special, and that's why when you got and we just had a blast.
Hmm.
And I'm like you. I want to keep it to an hour to an hour and a half tops.
For sure.
You have your host doing 5-10 minutes. You got your special guest doing 5 or 10 minutes.
Yep.
Feature doing 20-25, and then a headliner doing 30 to 45. That's it. because you can't hold people in the same room for over an hour and 2 hours. 90 minutes is about the most you're going to get the attention out of the people. And that's how, and that's how I want to do it. And it's just amazing because, my friends, we go to Vegas every year, and we always hit a comedy show in Vegas. And, gone to Four Queens. And Bob Zaney was probably the biggest guy. Well, we actually went to a bigger theater and saw Stephen Wright.
Oh, too. Cool.
Yeah, it was a good show. It was just him.
Nice.
But, and then at the Grand, we saw one night, and they basically did it like we did. But it was really strange. So they had all the, and again, I tried to set up the room that it's comfortable. They're able to get drinks without too much distraction. Try to keep that to a minimum. That's why I never have food, because I think food's a distraction. It's there just for the comedy,
it is.
And because I think food's a distraction. Because when I was in Minnesota, when I was running, the Coon Rapids Legion, that was cool. And people still talk about our show in Brewster.
Oh,
that
cool.
It was awesome.
That was what, 5 years ago?
What's that?
That was like 5 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, was I out of town at the same time? Or was it before I left? No, I think I was in town, wasn't it? Yeah. I was still living there, right?
Yeah, because I flew in.
Yeah.
You picked me up in Minneapolis.
Right. Didn't Margaret go down there with us?
I think so, yeah.
Because we went because I went.
It was your birthday.
It was my birthday. It was my birthday.
We went and got your
I went to
cheap
McDonald's.
coffee.
I didn't get my senior coffee. It was a really big deal for me. Yeah. It was so awesome. And that's and through this, that's why it doesn't go away. I want to find that thing, because another good friend and another community guy, Dwight York, who I did this show in Fallbrook, where I was running a little bar there. Same thing, man. Every time we put a show together, we sold out, and we just had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
I love Dwight York, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's
You
hilarious.
guys. So my goal after this whole shit's over with is get you two together and have a good show.
Oh, that'd be
It'd
great.
just be me, you, and him.
Oh, I'd love
And
that.
that'd be a great show, because you guys are the same.
Yeah.
When I mean the same, you have the same format where it's one-liners, 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I could, he kills it every time. And it's like we have, and it's always for a good, I have to bring charity into it, because I don't think
sure.
but so that it's a win-win for everybody. I don't make a ton of money. I want to make sure you guys get paid a fair amount. And that's, so all this a win-win for everyone. And so that's why, it's like, I would never get hired, because that's why I had to produce shows.
Yeah.
But at the same time, producing shows, I want to make sure that the audience has a great experience with it. And because I did have another bad experience, because after you, when I was in California, I landed up in another show in Brewster. I had this headliner come down from Minneapolis with a feature, and this guy, it was so painful for me. He just started making fun of Brewster. Started making fun. Oh, look at this barn. Look, because he was pissed off, because when I introduced him, I forgot to mention he was on Conan O'Brien or Letterman like 10 years ago.
And he got all pissed off.
And so it pissed him off there. But I paid him very well. Instead of giving him a hotel, he was going to drive back that night. So instead of giving him a hotel money, I put that part of the pay package. And I don't know why he got so turned off by this, because the people were there to pay. They're ready to have this good time. And all he did was made fun of he made fun of
That's not cool.
He made fun of he was really downgrading. He made fun of my banner. Well, look at this fucking cheap shit.
Yeah.
And that's how he started the show. And Earl Elliott, a thin black guy, comes down, kills it. I actually did a good, I was hosting it. My set went very well. Earl Elliott's set, black guy, I can actually tell you, Curt, that this is probably some of the first time in Brewster, Minnesota, that some of these people actually saw a black person in person.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
He killed it.
Yeah.
Just because they loved him. Just
That's
killed
awesome.
it. And this guy goes up, and he was just a bitter guy because he never made it.
Yeah.
He never, and I said, because when I saw him again was in Minneapolis uptown area. They were doing shows at a local VFW there to help out the vets. And it was some of the good, some of the top comedians of Minneapolis doing some of these shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought he was all in on this. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah,
I was wrong. And so some of the more experienced comedians, I have a very bad taste in my mouth, and because even some of those, I had three or four of those guys. I was doing once a show in Coon Rapids. I was running a Legion. I was doing the same thing with Howie's. I was doing it once a Friday night, and I had great support there because I had some of the people from this Legion that would actually help me be my roadies. They helped me put up my curtain and my stage and everything, and it was just awesome. And I had 2 or 3 bad experiences there too. It's like, wow, man, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's just, again, because these are some of the bitter ones that did this. But some ones I really enjoyed were, and they were the ones they appreciate what I did. And plus they got paid well.
Yeah.
I'm paying them $200, doing a local gig for like about 30, 40 minutes. You're getting paid, I paid them $250, $300. I mean, it's not headline money, but it's not bad for, you're not have no other work going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever heard of Daryl Horner. But he's a local comedian there. I like him very much as well because I did some stuff with him. He was hosting the open mics there, and I'll never forget my first open mic. I was there this is when I first moved from Albuquerque to the Twin Cities, and I didn't have a job. My best friend Sluggo, where I think he probably took over to my house. He was something that literally I didn't have a job. I didn't get that full-time job until March, and my friend, paid all my bills for like 6 months, and I paid them all back in a year and a half, and the support I had was just unbelievable, and so when I did Daryl, that first open mic in Coon Rapids, this is a shit little hole thing, and I just went off. I talk about the hookers, cocaine, I tried to squeeze in as much as I could in like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I kept going until he's going to come out. He was laughing his ass off. And so I follow him around and do some open mics there, and everybody just looked at me and that was just some weird fuck or something. And I didn't care because I know Daryl appreciated, because it go back to the old times where I actually worked at a bar, which now is called Acme Comedy Club in Minneapolis, one of the top comedy clubs. It's a shitty facility, one of the worst comedy clubs ever, because they fits 250 people or 200 some people. They have pillars. They have, so you don't get a full, you can sit, you pay this money to go to the show. There's something behind a pillar.
Oh, really?
And it was just, but they had, when I was working there as a bartender at this place, I mean, it was a legitimate club because they had Kevin Nealon, Bob Johnson, Dana Carvey, and a lot of those guys from Saturday Night Live came through there, and some of the top touring comedians still get booked through that place. Is still going. But it's one of the things, whatever wasn't. I tried to go do an open mic there once, and you get like the 3-minute deal, and and I'm done with open mics, pretty much.
Yeah.
Unless I really want to go try something new, just to get those stage times. That's why, God bless Kevin, but 2 hours, 3 hours, who's going to sit through that, right? And so that's why I want to get back to what we had, to find that place that would substitute for Howie's.
Yeah, that'd be great, man.
I was just trying to, because I inadvertently text Sarah Kennedy. I thought she was my other friend, so she probably thought it was weird because I'm talking about Larry David's movie Clear History.
I love that movie.
Do ya? I do too. I love Larry David, man.
So,
We're in the same
Larry
movie.
David's amazing, man. He's one of my heroes.
Right here. And here's the thing about that, Curt. You know how simple he is. He finds the little shit that's like all the big comedians.
Yeah.
Watching them, it's like they're talking about the same shit I talk about. That either they like or don't like, or just something kind of. I mean, Clear History. He has a picture about fucking shopping cart.
Yeah.
Why is fucking shopping cart? And I had this whole thing about shopping carts because my back, I can't bend down because they're so deep. They got the short ones for the old people. That's why I always look for those. I go, am I looking for those? And then you go to Costco, people, they walk 10 miles in Costco, but they can't walk 15 extra steps to put the fucking cart away. So they leave them in the walkway. I mean, so it's like people don't adhere to the fucking grocery cart etiquette. Drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But here's Larry David that has a fucking
the picture
of a fucking grocery cart, and he takes it. He makes like about 3 appearances in the movie, which I think is brilliant. And along with the outlets. Again, you can't bend over. Like why aren't they eye level or waist level at least? It's like. So what? You got a vacuum, you go do something. It's not permanent. Yeah, if it's permanent, they ain't go behind the wall or some shit.
Yeah.
That's the thing I really like about. And it's like even in Curb. He picks up a black hooker, so he can use the fucking the express lane.
Yeah. He takes her to a baseball game.
He's trying to get into the country club, and Larry, you gonna buy me a Dodger dog, right, Larry? It's like. That's the crazy shit I did.
Hey, did you ever see a documentary called The Long Shot? You should check it out. It's on Netflix, and it has to do with that episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh yes, where you saved the guy because of Larry's show.
Because the guy was in the shot.
The guy there at the fucking game.
Isn't that crazy?
That was just nuts. Of course, he takes that, and just runs with it.
Yeah.
And it's just he's brilliant because. I remember he hosted Saturday Night Live. He went out there and did a stand-up thing, and he just fucking kills it.
His stand-up is awesome.
And the thing about him, because he makes fun of himself.
Yeah.
Because he's such a narcissist prick.
Yeah.
And all of comedians are a little bit narcissist. I know I am.
Yeah. Did you ever see the when Steve Martin won the Mark Twain Prize?
Yes.
And Larry David gave a little speech on that. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
I think I have to go back and see it, but
go back and watch it because he's talking about, he's like, everyone's talking about what a great guy Steve is, and he tells a story that's like totally made up and like makes Steve look like an asshole. That's so funny.
And that's why. And I just got finished writing the introduction, and I got to get off my ass and get my book to the point where I self-publish it.
Yeah.
Because I really think my book is worthy. Because I know I had that one writer say that I paid $3,000 to and got nothing out of them. That this really could be some good, good stuff. It really could be produced. But how do you present the material? Because everybody's presenting material, right? How do you? I just love to find somebody that could, take it to somewhere. I don't know where I could go, And then of course the COVID shit happens. I put every fucking one, all the real comedian, all the entertainment on hold, right?
Yeah.
It's like the venues are not, whatever. But you get addicted to it, and my little show I do every week. It's just like, and I would ask you this is that, on Facebook, I wonder if they're lying to me because I know I talked to I didn't get a chance to have you watch a show. And it's like, really? I see that you had to click on it because you had it. Or is Facebook lying to me the number of clicks I get?
I don't know. Is it like an analytical page where you can see like all the stuff? Does it?
Right.
And you can see like how many people have clicked on it and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Like I've been averaging 132 now since I'm doing once a week. I got about 130. I got about 995 people in the group, and I get like about 132 clicks.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's just, and
I
it's
didn't
just
even know you were doing anything like that. It hasn't popped up on my Facebook at all.
really. I'll invite you again.
Okay,
It's
please do.
it's all
I have
about
no
me.
clue.
Yeah, it's all about me. The Chronicles of Roger Peterson.
Okay.
How it started out. Yeah, how it started out is, when the pandemic first started and I was in quarantine or getting ready to get done with it, because I went and saw my friend out in California is about ready to die. This is all first started, and I had a quarantine before they had computers at home, and I used all my PTO to do that. But my friends, Mark and Sarah, very, very good supporters of mine, says, Roger, you got to go on Facebook just to help us out. Just go ahead and start telling your crazy fucking stories. And just, and I said, who's going to listen to my shit? And I want, because of credit union, I don't want to, be out there. So I made it a private group. And I put a disclaimer out there. And I wrote some different, Curt, I'm going to be, the show, this Wednesday show is going to be my 111th show.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, and so once you come, you can go back. I'll find I started numbering and started labeling a little bit, and I got away from that again because I'm lazy, whatever. But there's a couple of shows that do stand up because I did tell all the crazy stories at the beginning. I was doing six shows a week. Then I went to 3 shows a week. Then I'm just doing 1 show a week.
Yeah.
And even then, because I'm lazy, a lot of it I don't write or prepare for it until shit just starts coming out of my head.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was going to suggest that maybe you started something like that because, when I was helping you with your book a little bit, you sent me all those stories and they're hilarious. Like, I don't know how many you sent me, but there are a lot of really funny ones in there. And
I've even gone even more than that. Because they're all still there. You go back to I think March 28th for the first one. A couple of ones that kind of stand out. The tampon episode is one of the favorites. And I've gone through my shallow relationships. All the crazy shit I did in Vegas. Of course, the hookers and the cocaine ones that steal my car. They're all in there, and crazy women I had in Palm Springs. That one, and another crazy one also in Palm Springs where she was living in a guest house across the street from Herman Wook, was across the street from Sonny Bono. That was interesting because it was before he died. Obviously, before he died, I could hear him playing tennis over there. All the crazy shit I did in Long Beach. My Long Beach stories were just fucking crazy, man.
Oh yeah.
And we talk about, and I had this one time, Kirk, I remember I performed in one of the what was it, Adeline with the upstairs kind of fancy pool hall it was up in downtown Albuquerque for a while.
One Up?
What's that?
Was it called One Up?
One Up, I think it could have been. They're doing some stand-up comedy there for a little while. And I can't remember who the host was. Was it the animal maybe? I can't remember who the host was.
It might have been Mike Ogden, possibly.
Yeah, could have been Mike. I think he was there because I did what I call my black set, and God, he loved it, man. I just loved it.
I know the owner of the place, Keith, I think was the guy's name. I don't remember his last name, but yeah, I remember that room.
Yeah, and so again, but you had people there that didn't know there was going to be a comedy show.
Yeah.
Right, and that just kind of turns me off a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard to do a set when people aren't expecting comedy.
Right.
Because you got to try and get them on your side, and then.
Right.
But you also want to, do your set for the people who are there to do comedy. Right,
and that's why that's why I think the room was so. Yeah, I'm going to say it was successful. It got actually voted best comedy room because there wasn't very many. Mm-hmm. I think Matt and I kind of started it up again a little bit. And then Kevin started doing this the comedy with all the other acts he had going on too. at down on Second Street or Fourth Street.
Yeah, Low Spirits.
And then, but there's a the Trichology. That's kind of a neat venue. But I know I'm just dying to when this shit's over with. I want to find the room because I kind of looking. I just want to find that spot. That's why I haven't really jumped into it because again, I want to be specific. Because I think we had a good thing going. And I'm old. And my crowd, 10 o'clock is way too fucking late, man.
Yeah.
I want to start it at 7 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
And that way I can get to my age people there.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that, but that just, I just seem to work.
Mm-hmm.
People my age are more, for a younger crowd, sure.
Yeah.
That's why they have open mics at 10:30, 11 o'clock, because, there's the regular shows over with, and that's whenever you can do that. But I always felt like 7 o'clock was just a good time, either on a
lot of comedy clubs have 7 o'clock shows now.
Good.
Yeah. Some clubs even have like a 6:30 or 6:45 even.
Cool. Now, those where you perform, do you do 2 shows a night?
Comedy clubs usually on Friday and Saturday. Yeah.
How do you like that?
I love it.
Cool.
Yeah. It's always because it's always a little different, like the early shows usually an older crowd,
right?
And then the later shows usually a younger crowd, so it's a little bit different. The crowds are different, so it's a fun challenge.
Right, so you get to feed off the energy that's coming.
For sure.
So you can find your ways to relate to each of the difference of those crowds.
Yeah. So I could do like my cleaner stuff at the early show and then go a little darker at the late show.
That's the one thing I really got to work on. I got to get myself a nice, good, solid, clean set.
It's hard, man. it's
really hard. Just because I'm biting back and I just want to go off, and especially while my stories can't be clean. Who else can go to a farm and make that dirty? But it's still, when I tell that story to bar, I get these fucking looks, Curt, like deer in headlights.
Oh yeah.
And then it says, think of me when you have your dinner,
Yeah, we don't eat turkey at Thanksgiving because of you.
Yeah, and I loved, I loved, the first time I ever had green chili when I was in California. A good friend of mine from my hometown, his wife, they lived in Inglewood. And I went over to the house, the week after Thanksgiving. It was green chili turkey enchiladas.
Oh yeah.
God, that was the best stuff ever.
Oh, that sounds good.
And that's what my first thing of green chili was with turkey.
That's awesome, man. Hey, we already hit 45 minutes. I try not to go over 45 minutes. I usually do, but dude, thanks so much for coming on here, man. It's really nice to get to talk to you again. And I live in New Mexico now, so we'll definitely have to get together sometime.
Are you in Albuquerque or?
I'm in Rio Rancho.
Rio Rancho, okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm looking for that spot. And let me ask you a quick question before we go. Do you think the comedy club absolutely has to have alcohol?
Man, I mean, if they want to make money, yeah. I mean, as far as like just doing a comedy show, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, if I find a room, it's like, that's where the challenge is find that spot with the alcohol.
Yeah.
It would be, because if, hey, can we drink? No, well, you're not going to come. And that's why I think a roadie ventures, hell, I had more people at Howie's than I did at the roadie theater.
Yeah, it could be tough sell for an audience, for sure.
Well, hey, thank you for having me, man. And
absolutely, man.
And how can people find the link?
I'll send you everything tomorrow. I have to render the video tonight, which takes about 3 hours. And then, so I put a link out on YouTube so they can watch the video. Then I'll have the audio on SoundCloud, plus every other place where podcasts are. So.
Oh, awesome.
But I'll tag you in everything tomorrow.
I sure wish I went to use the word fuck a couple of times, but that's okay. I always put the disclaimers out there anyway.
Oh yeah, people will know. It's you can say whatever you want on here. So
That's all I'll do is like I'll put it on my private group tomorrow. And how
okay,
many people do you get usually that pop into the podcast?
I have no idea.
No,
Yeah,
really?
well, yeah, it's I don't know. Like, I don't know how to track the numbers from like Apple and all that other stuff. I can see my numbers from SoundCloud and YouTube, but that's all. Like, I don't know how to track all the other stuff. So
Sure, sure. Well,
I
thanks for
need to
having me,
figure it out.
Curt.
Absolutely, Roger. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, man.
You too. We'll get together as soon as this shit's over with, man.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd love
All
to
right.
talk soon.
Take care.
All right, take care, buddy. All right, that was Roger Peterson. That was a good time talking to Roger. I haven't seen him in now it's been a while. And yeah, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Wanted to have Roger on for the Thanksgiving week because of the turkey story. Thought that was pretty fun. Uh yeah, I was supposed to do a show in Greeley, Colorado last week, but that didn't happen. I drove all the way to Colorado and then it got canceled, so that kind of sucked. But it's all right. I kind of had a feeling it was going to happen anyway, so not really too upset by it. Want everyone to be safe and all that. But yeah, I just want to say another special thanks to Jarrett Reddick, who is working on my intro music. He texted me the other day. He said it's coming soon, so looking forward to that. Also, thanks to John Singleton, who does the outro music. He's the guitar player for Anesthesia, and I gotta say, congrats to them. They just won 94 Rock's COVID cage match, which is super cool. So super cool. Thanks to everyone who voted for him. I don't know what the prize is. I know they get to record like one original song with this awesome producer here in town, and then they get some airplay on 94 Rock, which is super cool. So congrats to those guys. Super cool. Also, if you want to donate to the podcast, you can do that. Venmo at Funny Fletcher. I just purchased a domain name for intherightpodcast.com, so I'm going to start building that website probably tonight or tomorrow. So hopefully it'll be up next week. And yeah, if you go to my website now, funnyfletcher.com, and go to the store on there, and if you buy anything, excuse me, you can type in the right podcast, all capitals, no spaces. You get 10% off your purchase on there. So it's pretty sweet deal. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I hope you guys all have a safe and fun Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you next time. See you later.